Oh, hello. I spent way too much money on 4Ks and Blu-rays this month. Let's talk about them. Excuse me one moment. What's up, everyone? Red Eye Reviews here with another episode of Physical Therapy for you, this time for the month of March 2025. If you're unfamiliar with the channel or the series, Physical Therapy is a monthly series in which I go over all of the Blu-rays and 4Ks and maybe even some DVDs that I buy in a given month, and I talk about them. Are they worth an upgrade? Are they maybe a hidden gem that you might never have heard of? Who knows? As usual, I went a little crazy this month.
Crazier than usual.
So we're going to go through these really quick. But first, I have an update for you.
Update.
And that is that I finally watched Times Square that I got on Blu-ray, featured in last month's episode of Physical Therapy. I didn't even check out the trailer for this because I really didn't want to be spoiled. I knew nothing about this movie going into it, and I liked that. And let's just cut to the chase. I had the best time watching this. Now, it's not a horror movie or a genre flick by any stretch of the imagination. It's more of a coming-of-age story. It's a hangout movie. And in this case, you're hanging out with punk rock runaway and a sheltered prissy girl. The two join forces when they meet up in a mental ward, and they kind of do a whole buck the system kind of thing.
Out on the street and out of the night, they have a message for the city. And they're going to be heard on Times Square.
So Alan Moyle, who directed such cult classics as Pump Up the Volume and Empire Records, also directed this little hidden gem back in 1980, and starring two virtually unknowns and Tim Curry, of course. Tim Curry is also in this in a supporting role, playing a sleazy DJ who's trying to exploit the girls for his own personal fame and gain. All I gotta say, because I'm gonna wrap this up, is if you're a fan of the 80s, if you're a fan of punk rock music, if you're a fan of cinema and what it can do to your soul and how you may feel about the world after a movie is done and you feel satisfied, check out Times Square. Highly recommended.
I don't see why we need to be famous.
You know a lot of things. I only know one thing, and it is that they're gonna see who I am.
Apathy, banality, boredom, television. But a new iconoclast has come to save us. It's the Sleaze Sisters. It's Nikki and Pamela.
Times Square.
So getting into the meat and potatoes of it all right away, because we got no time to lose tonight. First movie I picked up in the month of March, 300 on 4K.
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is Sparta!
Got it from Streetlight Records, a California staple of used movies and music. Only two locations left in California, sadly, one in Santa Cruz and one in San Jose. So 300, you probably know the story already. It's pretty simple. 300 Spartans go to take on the Persians, and it's based on a graphic novel by Frank Miller. This was done off of the success of Sin City, and in my opinion, like Sin City and like Watchmen as well, 300 is one of those early 2000s movies that really, I think, really got the comic book adaptation correct. 300 is a spectacular action movie. I thought it was boring for the longest time, and then recently rewatched it after so long, and I really got hooked. So, of course, when I saw the 4K used at Streetlight for about $13, I had to swoop it. I gotta say, that old Warner Blu-ray, that's an old VC1, that looked pretty damn good. I haven't had a chance to check this out, but I hear it's a slight uptick in detail. However, this also comes with the Blu-ray, so should the 4K not tickle my fancy, I still have that Blu-ray that I just talked about. 300, is it worth an upgrade on 4K? I'd say yes if you can get it cheap enough, or if you've never owned the Blu-ray before. So 300 is a pretty great action flick and is definitely worth your time.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Next up, I picked up a Brian De Palma classic, but something I need to warm up a little bit on, and that is Raising Cain on Blu-ray from Shout Factory.
Hickory dickory, Doc. Cain has picked his lock.
As you've noticed, I flipped around the cover. However, the bad thing is that this must have been a promotional Blu-ray that someone returned and, you know, Streetlight resells, because there's usually holes through the barcodes, and you can see that right here. However, when you flip the art around, you get a hole on your art.
Your art was the prettiest art of all the art.
Thank you.
But anyway, Raising Cain is not one of my favorite De Palma films by any long shot.
By a long shot!
It's something I didn't see until somewhat recently, but when I saw it, I wasn't really thrilled about it. I mean, John Lithgow, don't get me wrong, gives a great performance. He really pulls out all the stops. It's basically about him and his split personality dealing with his wife's infidelities, and again, not one of Brian De Palma's top 3 or 5 that I can recommend, but you know, there's a lot of De Palma-isms there that, you know, even with a film that's subpar, and definitely not his worst by far, but a film that's subpar, you're still entertained, you're still enthralled in this mystery, you're still there with John Lithgow throughout this movie because Brian De Palma is a hell of a director. And that's why I can't completely neglect this one, because it's still full of that great De Palma style that we all know and love. It's still full of that mystery that gets us wanting to know more in the story, along with great performances by everyone involved. This hasn't made the leap to 4K. I don't know if it will. I mean, at Shout Factory, they probably will, but honestly, I don't see myself upgrading unless I see this for a second time and just fall head over heels for it. I don't see that happening, but I do think that with repeated viewings, I will slip more into the warm bath that is Raising Cain. If this is your favorite movie and you think I'm crazy, let me know in the comments why. I'm genuinely interested in the discord around this film, and I want to like it more, so please, feel free. Let me have it in the comments. I'm glad to have picked up Raising Cain for a discounted price on Blu-ray. For now, I'm happy with that.
I don't need you. I don't need you.
Next up, we have a healthy dose of nostalgia from the 90s, and that is X-Files Fight the Future on Blu-ray.
Chris! Is that a weed?
No, this is a crayon.
I'm calling the police!
911, what's your emergency?
Now, this is a little bit of a harder title to find. The sequel, which has a similar cover, which I hear is not that great of a movie, is really easier to find. You'll come across it a lot in a lot of used movie stores, but this one has kind of slipped through the cracks, and while it's not full on, like out of print, super hard to find, it's definitely something you don't see a lot. So when I walked into Rasputin Music, I was really happy to see this right off the bat, and I snagged it without hesitation because I remember seeing this back in '98 when it came out in theaters, back when I was a big X-Files fan, and I remember enjoying it. Sadly, that was the last time I seen this movie, only because what I've been properly trying to do for a long time now is do a marathon of the X-Files TV show and incorporate this movie in there as well. So I've been kind of holding off on watching this, but being that it's been so long since I've seen any X-Files, I can say wholeheartedly, this is the movie you're going to want to watch if you're looking for an X-Files movie. I hear that sequel is crap. I haven't even seen it. I don't think I'm going to. I'll stick with this. If you're unfamiliar with the X-Files, Agent Mulder and Scully are FBI agents, and they investigate the paranormal. And this is kind of, if I recall, this is kind of a spin-off from one of the seasons. I don't know. It's been a long time. But if you like the X-Files and you haven't seen any of the movies, I can recommend X-Files Fight the Future. But finding it on physical is probably going to be the real challenge here.
Enjoy the present. Because the truth is coming.
Next up, I have a true cult classic movie in every sense of the word, and that is Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolo Rama. Now this is something you need to watch on a Friday or Saturday night with some friends, some beers, some buds. You'll have some laughs. Basically, it's a very, very loose plot of a bunch of young college kids who, in a hazing stunt, they're supposed to steal a trophy or something from the bowling alley after it's closed. And so they break in there and they run into Linnea Quigley, who is stealing quarters out of the pinball machines. And in the process, they release a magical imp who grants them wishes. And these wishes are never, of course, what the people wish for. They backfire, and the imp rejoices. Let me tell you, if you are triggered easily, the imp is going to be a problem for you.
Oh shit, what a shame. But we'll fix that.
Stop him!
Don't bother canceling this movie because it's already out of print and pretty hard to find. This is one of the Full Moon Features Blu-rays, and it's Charles Band and his old band. And this is going for a pretty hefty price online. I was lucky enough to find it used under $20. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Oh, fuck. Damn. Sucker's gonna be the size of a donkey's dick come daylight. I guess I'll just have to learn to scratch my balls with the other hand. Good thing I love my work.
This is on streaming. I believe it's actually free on YouTube right now if you look it up. I cannot recommend this movie enough if you want a quick, under an hour and a half, cheese fest, drinking game movie. You're stoned and it's 2 a.m. and you need something to fall asleep to movie. Definitely check this out if you're into those things.
I gotta tell you both, kids, drugs are not the answer. What you gotta do like it says on the TV. You gotta learn to say no.
Go ahead, be a party pooper. You'll be sorry.
So how's everybody enjoying that Daredevil Born Again? What do you think? Yeah? Let me know in the comments. That being said, the next movie is Daredevil on Blu-ray, starring Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. Now, this is something I saw in the theaters back when it came out. I was big into, superheroes, as we all were back in the early 2000s with X-Men coming out. And so Daredevil was definitely a product of its time. And, it's got the Evanescence soundtrack. It's got that beautiful, beautiful playground fight between Daredevil and Elektra. I don't know. This movie, I didn't hate this movie back then. I still don't hate it now. Ben Affleck is a fine pick for the role of Matt Murdock / Daredevil. I just don't think Jennifer Garner was the best choice for Elektra. Everyone else in the cast works fine for me. Michael Clarke Duncan is a great Kingpin. Colin Farrell is a great Bullseye. If anything, this is just a time capsule of early 2000s superhero movies, and it's actually one of the ones that I think is just, it's not half bad. Yeah, there are some cringy moments in there, like the playground fight.
Sure you're blind. Sure you're blind.
I had to pick this up with Born Again coming out, and it's a Fox title, it's a Disney title now, so, the only way you're gonna really see it is if you get Disney Plus, and I refuse to get Disney Plus, so this is the director's cut, actually. In fact, every Blu-ray of Ben Affleck Daredevil is the director's cut. The theatrical cut was not released on Blu-ray, it's only on DVD. So you're only gonna get the director's cut, which has all the extra scenes added back into the movie, including a subplot with the late, great Coolio. I don't mean that facetiously. I really love Coolio. Rest in peace.
Great job.
So the reasons I picked this up were basically Daredevil Born Again coming out, and then me having the realization that the only way to watch this is on Disney Plus, and it's not that bad. If you really want some really good Daredevil, stick with the first 3 seasons of the Netflix show, and You know, after that, it's kind of on you if you want to go further or not. But for my dollar, I'll stick with the Blu-ray of this and those first 3 seasons.
Bullseye.
While I'm here, though, please don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to the channel, keep physical media alive, fuck streaming.
You're goddamn right.
Next up, we have a classic noir film from the 70s directed by Roman Polanski. Released, again, on 4K, and that is Chinatown from Paramount. Now, Chinatown is something I was very late to the game on. This is something I never got a chance to see until recently.
He's a monster.
I liked it a lot. I didn't love it right off the bat. I know a lot of you are going to feel differently about that. Feel free to submit your disdain in the comments below. But Chinatown, I've always heard, is basically Roger Rabbit, or, I mean, Roger Rabbit is basically Chinatown, but they're basically the same film. And, you know, it's noir film, set in the 30s, detective, out solving a mystery, femme fatales, things like that. Jack Nicholson plays Jake Getz, and he does wonders with this role. It's one of Jack Nicholson's best roles, in my opinion. Faye Dunaway is also amazing in this. I mean, you know, the movie, it's a classic. It's American cinema. It's Chinatown, baby.
It's Hollywood, baby.
So if you're looking for a noir film that hits all the beats of a classic Hollywood film, that just has that old school feel, great performances, great direction, some twists and turns, check out Chinatown. Paramount has done an exquisite job with this 4K transfer. It's the best this film's gonna look, in my opinion. It's probably the last time I'll ever have to buy this, but that means you should check it out. I got it for 14 bucks during Paramount's Barnes & Noble sale. It's probably still on sale right now, along with a bunch of other great Paramount titles. This is just one that I needed to have, and I was ready to pay 20 bucks for it, but hey, I'll take it for 14.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
It's Hollywood, baby. It's Hollywood, baby.
Next up, we have a out-of-print Fox title that's climbing in value recently on the secondary market, and that is Phone Booth on Blu-ray. So this is something I've owned on DVD, Blu-ray in the past, and have gotten rid of in the past, and have now circled back and bought it again. Granted, for a slightly inflated price. But that's beside the point. Phone Booth is basically about Colin Farrell, who stars as a marketing executive in New York, and he's an asshole. He's an asshole, and he's cheating on his wife with Katie Holmes, I might add. This movie came out when cell phones were just starting to gain their popularity in the United States, and in a world taken over by cell phones, for some reason Colin Farrell is in an actual phone booth, and the plot of the movie is basically he's trapped in this phone booth because there's that's basically holding him hostage in that phone booth until he can atone for his sins and right some wrongs. And Colin Farrell gives a fucking phenomenal performance in this movie.
Stu Shepard thought he had the game wired.
How's business? Tickets. 4 for Britney Spears.
But today, someone's got his number.
Yep.
Don't even think about leaving that booth.
Wrong number, pal.
I'm aiming at you right now. Can you feel it? I have a .30 caliber bolt action 700 with a hands-hold tactical scope.
You mean like a rifle? You're bluffing.
There's only one way to find out.
Oh my God, you shot him. He's the shooter.
I've seen him.
It wasn't
While
me.
this is not one of Joel Schumacher's best films by any stretch of the imagination, it's still something worth checking out. It's still a really solid thriller. The performances, like I said, Colin Farrell is phenomenal, but there's also great performances from Forrest Whitaker and Kiefer Sutherland in supporting roles. Before the advent of smartphones, this is a nice little time capsule of early 2000s culture and how smartphones weren't even a thing. This film relies a lot on that. It also relies on a lot of suspension of disbelief, but that's fine because otherwise it's a very well crafted thriller. And while it is a little hard to get a hold of, it's not impossible. But if you can't get your hands on this, I say check it out. It's a damn fine thriller, worth your time.
Look, I'm sure we can work this out.
It's do or die time. 1,
Hold your fire!
2, 3.
Next up, I have another 20th Century Fox title on Blu-ray. I mean, we should just call this the 20th Century Fox out-of-print Blu-ray show at this point.
Hardy fucking hard.
It's probably going to be out of print soon at this point. I mean, any day now, I'm waiting for the price on this to just go through the roof. But I decided I wanted this movie to have in my collection anyway, because the last time I saw it, I really enjoyed it a lot better than the first time I saw it. And that is Dodgeball on Blu-ray.
That's rad.
You probably know the story. It's basically an underdog story. It's Vince Vaughn versus Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller is a successful gym owner, and he owns like a Planet Fitness. And Vince Vaughn owns a smaller gym, and basically it's a rivalry movie. And the sport they play to settle that rivalry is
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
This is one of those early 2000s comedies that you just don't see made anymore. There's a lot of irreverent humor in this, which I love. And I mean, there was a time that shit was standard. So again, this is something that's probably going to get canceled one of these days. The price is probably going to go through the roof one of these days. Even if it doesn't, I'm okay with it because this is a damn fine, funny movie. It's not something I watch a lot, but it's something that if you kind of bust out every now and then, you get a good couple of hearty laughs out of it. In fact, you get a little bit more than that. Anyway, Dodgeball is perfect little early 2000s comedy. A lot of great gags, a lot of great irreverent humor. If you're in for some good laughs and some piss and fart jokes and some words you probably can't say online anymore, check out Dodgeball.
All I know is that dad can play.
Next up, I have one of my favorite films of 2024. Even though it didn't crack the top 10, it still made the honorable mention list, and that is Fall Guy on 4K.
Tom Ryder, the biggest action star on the planet, is missing. You need to bring him back.
Why me?
You're a stuntman. Nobody's gonna notice you. That's your job. No offense.
I mean, some take it.
You find Ryder, save Jodie's film. You get the love of your life back.
Now, this is something I picked up used for a pretty good price at Rasputin Music and Movies. And, I really like Fall Guy. I'm not going to go too much into the plot. So Ryan Gosling is a stuntman who is forced out of the business by a career-ending injury. And then he's brought back into the business by his ex-girlfriend, played by Emily Blunt, who is directing a new and upcoming film and wants him specifically for the role. Other than that, I'm going to leave the rest to you because you really owe it to yourself to check out Fall Guy. This was one of the most missed movies of the year, in my opinion. There's a lot of people who share the same sentiment. It's like a secret code. We all have seen and loved this movie. This is something I think it's going to take a while for people to come around to, and I'm doing my part to help that go faster.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
So, Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, great chemistry together, great comedic timing. Ryan Gosling is great in this role. It reminds me a lot of his work on The Nice Guys, which I wasn't a fan of at first, but I came around to it. Fall Guy, I loved right off the bat. It was just fun. It's action. It's got comedy. It's. You probably missed this movie in 2024. You owe it to yourself to not miss it in 2025. This was going for quite a pretty penny for a while there for a brand new 4K, especially a 4K of a movie that pretty much flopped at the movie theaters. Fall Guy, full of humor, full of action. The leads are great. Again, one of the most slept on movies of 2024. Don't sleep on it yourself. Check it out.
You're a stunt guy.
We need to keep it super profesh.
Profesh is my middle name.
You said your middle name was Danger.
With Anora winning Best Picture at the Oscars, it's no surprise that Sean Baker is now basically going to be a household name. In fact, he pretty much already is. Of course, I went back and looked at some of the Sean Baker films that I haven't seen or haven't seen in a while, and so I decided to watch my next pick, and that is The Florida Project on Blu-ray.
Hey, Lee, we got a situation here. Open up. It's only second week of the summer, and there's already been a dead fish in the pool.
We're trying to get it back alive.
Water balloons thrown at tourists.
Boobies! Boobies!
I failed as a mother, Mooney.
Yeah, Mom, you're a disgrace.
So this was something I saw a couple years back, and I think it was the way I saw it. Maybe I watched it on my phone. I know. And I didn't have the best opinion of it. Now, this isn't biased based on how I feel about his other films like Anora, but with that new Renaissance, I decided to go back and give Florida Project another chance and to watch it properly on a TV on my terms. So The Florida Project is a cinema verite movie set in, guess where? It follows a young girl and her mother who live in a magical motel right down the street from Walt Disney World, Florida. They live in poverty, so it's basically the two of them against the world. They're scraping to get by, and you follow them in a few days in their lives. This is a slice of life drama. It's basically not something that's gonna be filled with twists and turns and plot points and things like that. You're in this for the characters, you're in this for the story, you're in this for how the movie makes you feel. And that's what art's all about. It's all about how it makes you feel. And by the time I was done with The Florida Project for the second time, I felt a hell of a lot better about this movie. I felt like how I felt after watching Times Square. I felt sated. I felt, you had that endorphin rush of, ooh, good movie. What was I thinking the first time? The Florida Project is great. So I literally turned around and bought it off the internet. Florida Project, it's readily available. It's not expensive. It's not out of print. It's definitely something you should check out if you're into indie cinema. You should check out all of Sean Baker's films anyway. I can also highly recommend Red Rocket and Starlet, especially two of my favorite Sean Baker films. But this is definitely creeping up on the list as time goes on. I am really finding a fondness with this one. Check it out. Totally worth your time.
See, I took you on a safari. Whoa. Let's go, come on.
Have a nice day.
Love you, baby.
I love you too.
Next up, I have you guessed it, an out-of-print 20th Century Fox title on 4K, and that is 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. This is something you are not going to find on 4K for a cheap price at all. I don't know how I was able to get it as low as I got it on eBay. I'm still amazed that it happened. But anyway, 3 Billboards is the latest film from Martin McDonagh, the director of such films as In Bruges and 7 Psychopaths. In Bruges being one of my favorite films of all time. 3 Billboards follows a mother played by Frances McDormand, a grieving mother who has lost her teenage daughter to homicide, and she is upset with the local police department's handling of the investigation, so she decides to spend her savings on, you guessed it, 3 billboards.
Done.
That basically call out the police department, sheriffs, and basically say, why haven't you done anything about this crime?
What's the law on what you can and cannot say on a billboard? I assume you can't say nothing defamatory and you can't say fuck, piss, or cunt. That right?
Or anus?
I think I'll be all right then.
I guess you're Angela Hayes' mother.
That's right. I'm Angela Hayes' mother.
Thus gaining media attention and, more eyes on the crime and things like that. It's a drama with some dark comedy elements. McDonagh is a master of dark comedy.
Dixon, I'm in the middle of my goddamn Easter dinner.
Sorry, kids.
I know, Chief, but I think we got kind of a problem.
I'd do anything to catch your daughter's killer. I don't think those billboards is very fair.
Time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby. Some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now.
The one thing I can say about it is I'm not really too fond of the ending, but I think the more and more I watch this movie, I'm gonna be okay with that. It's still not something I am really big on, but I don't know. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, it's funny, it's full of heart. It's also got some shocking moments, some shocking characters. Sam Rockwell is amazing in this. I mean, I believe he won the Best Supporting Actor award for this, and if I'm right, rightfully so. He's amazing. Frances McDormand is amazing, as she always is. Woody Harrelson, who plays the sheriff, also killer role. This is a really great movie, whether you watch it on Blu-ray, on 4K, or streaming.
What? No!
No matter how you watch it, it's great. If you can get the 4K, I say pick it up. I haven't had a chance to check it out myself yet, but I hear it's not that huge of a leap from the Blu-ray, so if you're on the fence about upgrading, you're not going to be missing a whole lot, according to what I've heard. But if you just have to have the 4K like I did, you're looking for at least $30 on the lower end on eBay. That's about what I paid for it. This is one of the earlier 4K titles, if I recall correctly, so that could also be why it's a little more harder to find. It's also a Fox title. It's also owned by Disney now. You know, all those reasons. The Blu-ray is actually pretty easy to get, so if you're okay with getting the Blu-ray, get the Blu-ray. But if you have to have the 4K, be prepared to throw down some money for it.
Billboards outside.
Then put an end to shit, you fucking retard. This is just a fucking start. Why don't you put that on your Good Morning Missouri fucking wake up broadcast, bitch?
Whew. So, we are at the halfway mark, and I still have 10 more titles to talk about.
Oh my god!
The more out of print, harder to find stuff, that's coming right up, so you're going to want to stick around for those. Fuck streaming.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
A talking monkey? Talking monkey, yeah. Yeah, came here from the future. Ugly sucker, only says ficus.
I don't know